All right, legend, welcome to this week here and welcome to the 2-in-1 method, which is going to be your focus area for this week here. Because getting through a program like this is not just about losing weight. We want to come out on the other side, right? Not just with a lower number on the scale, but with a finished product that we love to look at in the mirror, right? So this is what it's all about here. And in this video here is, or in this week's focus area for you, is really to start getting the understanding of like what it actually takes to have this beautiful, lean, aesthetic look all year around. And how can we create it with what we do at the gym, because all the hard work and a lot of the work is done here. A lot of people think, okay, it's just if I keep my diet really clean, I can have a beautiful aesthetic lean look. You can lose weight eating clean, right? But if you're not adding this one here, you won't really build that frame and that foundation. It requires that you are having, number one, a lean, a lower body fat percentage, but it also requires that you're having a certain amount of muscle mass and build a frame underneath. So into your focus area, and what I would like you to start thinking about when you're doing your workouts moving forward, even way out in the future. This is how I taught, like this is how my coach and my mentor taught me back then when I used to be a fitness athlete and when I used to develop my body. I was 20 kilo heavier than I were right now with a lower body fat percentage that I am right now. So I've been on the whole scale in terms of taking the body up and down in weight there. So the 2-in-1 method basically comes down to we having the foundation, right? We having the strength component of what we do at the gym, squats, deadlifts, overhead press, chest press. Like we are doing compound movements, right? To really focusing on building the foundation and the strength underneath, right? That's the first part. The second part is kind of like what we call the finished product, the differentiator, the definer, the finisher, right? And that these sort of like things occurs when we're doing more so isolation exercises, machine movements, and really concentrating the muscles in a cable movement and stuff, right? So the way I want you to kind of like focus or like kind of like visualize your focus around how you're building your body is you're having the foundation. It's like a house, right? You're building the concrete around, right? You're building the walls underneath there and you're building the foundation up strong so it can actually hold a 2-story place, right? You're moving along, you're building the strength up, and if you just continue doing heavy lifts, right? Just go at it hard, right? Compound movements, but you never really got into higher repetition, more into isolation and these sort of things there. You will just develop like a square framework, like a solid frame. And that's when you look at these people that, might look a little bit overweight, but they're very, very strong, right? Powerlifters and strongmen. But they don't have that defined look. It's because they've just been training for these strength and A to B movements, right? Heavy lifts up and down. So that's kind of like the focus area in that is to focus on the strength. And we do that in the programs as we're having your squats in there, we're having your leg press, we're having your chest press, we're having your shoulder press and these sort of things in the beginning of the program, right? Each day when you're doing your workouts, you're having these heavier multi-joint lift to kind of like focus on the framework, right? Focusing on the foundation. Number 2, and that's where you've done the hard work. Now you can go in and then start focusing on the finisher, right? The definer, really getting that pump into your muscles. And that's where we're adding supersets on. That's where we're adding concentration. We're adding cable, we're adding machines and these sort of things to really like squeeze the muscles, right? Really start sculpting and defining so you're getting that finished product, the look in the mirror and you're like, wow. He looks like he's very, very fit, right? He looks really aesthetic and he looks amazing when you're looking at this physique there in the mirror, right? So that again, that comes from these exercises over here. And the reason why we're having the 2-in-1 method is because when you're having both in your workout routine, what do you think is gonna happen, right? What do you think is gonna happen? You'll get the best of both worlds. And you need both worlds in there. You need strength to be able to go up here and do the concentration with a heavier weight week after week, month after month, and that's where you're having your progression fun. If you just did cable and machines and squeezed all the time, right, you will never be able to actually become stronger, right? You will never like really progress. So you will kind of like just hit the ceiling. You might be defined, you might be slim up here, but you're never really gonna add more muscle in. You're never really gonna get like bigger, right? And be more lean and more aesthetic and these sort of things that you will just cap yourself. And if you just focus on the strength over here, you will just build this kind of like thick look, right? You will just be like heavy, but you will be strong. So that's why that's why we're having these 2-in-1 method where we're focusing on the strength component with the compound movements, and then we're focusing on the finisher, superset, concentration, cables, machine, and these sort of things to build the finished product, right? So again, have this, I know it's a long explanation, but have this in your mind here right now when you're going into your workouts and moving into whatever you're doing out in the future with your training. Have your strength in place. It's like I'm eating the vegetables, right? I've done the hard work, right? Now it's time for me to go over and like clean up, right? Put the windows in, the ceiling, the roof, and like really make it nice and defined and feel that pump in your body. And that is the 2-in-1 method.